Welcome back here to the Season 3 French Formula FG Grand Prix. And we have here Tapio Rinho still occupying third spot. Of course, finished third in Donington last race. Jamie Cox, though, he's still hunting down Takuma Ishikawa. If he can get close, he might be able to allow his pit crew to do the work for him, because he's going to struggle to find the way past the Razor. Nathan Corns in the other one here is having a look down past Costello, can't get it done. It's currently 3 seconds between first and second. Arguably, Jamie Cox, he might be able, if he can get to being on the back of Ishikawa, and that's a lot. You know, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of work to do in 15 laps or so. He needs to get onto the back of Ishikawa, and he can possibly enact an undercut on the Japanese driver. Of course, it's pretty dangerous for him as well, though. He might have to wait for people to go past him in the pit lane, as Kadera ducking and weaving, can't find a way past his former employee Pablo Deal. Lasky here. Now that is Brugman. Another 4/10 out of Ishikawa. Just every now and then he just finds a bit. Ishikawa responds a little bit, and then Cox does it again, gets another couple of tenths out of him. Corns can't find a way past Costello, no matter how hard he tries. Rinho just trying to keep the car as far away from Costello, doesn't want to give him something to look at. Because next second Costello's going to be trying to catch Rinho rather than trying to keep Corns behind. Corns again will have a look down the main straight. And yet again will not find any way by. Two and a half seconds between first and second now. Pablo Deal, a bit of a lock up there, running wide. Kadera cannot find the way by. Nathan Corns yet again. And yet again is probably the best saying for that moment. I don't think he's gotten it done. Pablo Deal continuing to keep Kadera behind. Here we go, the other DTK and the other Raven West doing exactly the same thing. Mercedes versus Bentley. Bentley struggling to find the necessary grunt. Martins, though, he's run wide as well, just like Deal did. Rob Sharp is there now to make things interesting. Brugman getting blue flagged. That allows Lasky past him. It's down to 1.8 seconds between him and Jamie Cox. About 10 laps to go. This could well be decided in the pits. Jamie Cox, you know, he'll be coming in early. He's got a decent gap to people, but if somebody else comes in with him on that lap, it could slow him down. He might have to wait for them to go past his pit box. Ishikawa should have no such problem. And still, Kadera cannot find a way by. Lasky going to get overtaken by Brugman. Oh, Rob Sharp takes a much wider line than necessary. The Brit yet to find his first points of the season. I'm struggling to see how he's going to be able to do that here. His teammate, meanwhile, occupying third spot currently. More than anything, what Falcon need, they need 2 cars finishing. They need to have, hopefully, 1 in the points. Jamie Cox down to 1.3 seconds. The champion is on the move. Yet again, Brugman down the inside. Yet again, blue flags. Jamie Cox, you can see Ishikawa there, you can see him clearly. Deal still keeping Kadera behind. Now this is interesting because now Mishra moves out first. He ducks back to the outside, he's tucked in behind Deal. And again, Deal holds position. Jamie Cox has just gone an absolute rampage. You know, he's found so much time. Pablo Deal, another mistake there. Kadera yet again cannot find a way through. Got to be a little bit careful there. Lost a little bit of space. Oh, Jamie Cox is down to 9/10 of a second now. Nathan Corns keeps running out of the grunt. Mishra is well and truly on his way now. McNamara's in no man's land. He's been helped so much by Pablo Deal, keeping Kadera behind and slowing up that little group. Yamaguchi's onto the back of them now. I think I might have did I mention Mishra earlier? I might have. Yeah, I think I did. So that's Yamaguchi, sorry. That's in the battle for 8th. Oh, and Deals put it off the circuit. A mistake there from the Brazilian. Cadera finally gets through. Yamaguchi will go through. Graham will go through. Cadera now, he'll have McNamara ahead of him. 3.3 seconds, but that's more than achievable. As Korn still cannot find a way past Costello. Won't get it done. Rinyaho there, lost a bit of time. Jamie Cox is down to half a second now. Oh, he's just found, he's taken a fantastic line through there. If he was struggling to get past McNamara though, he's going to have an absolute nightmare getting past Ishikawa, and that's where it comes to being, he's going to have to probably hope to be close enough pit stops. I could be wrong though. He pulls out. And then he's not finding any distance. Will he duck in? Goes back into the slipstream. Did it well too late, I'd fancy, to get any benefit out of it, but he's right on the back of Ishikawa now. Rinyaho gets a little bit more breathing space from the two behind him. Cadera is catching McNamara quite a lot. Pablo Deal and Manolis Sigalakis now. They're having a look at each other. Fiamalana, Rui Martins, Daniel Harvey, Rob Sharps off the back of them. Here is Jack Lasky. Stefan Berner's going to have a look past him. This is for position as well. The Dutchman gets the job done. We got to remember, Lasky is in the position. He's effectively the race leader, based on stops to go. Having a look here back towards Jamie Cox. Now then, Australian has another chance down the straight. Pulls to the inside early. You can still see him. And he again is not able to get it done. As Corns has been released, Mishra is into fourth. Mishra's going to have a look at him. That's very late down the straight. Indian makes him think about it. Rinyaho's in, then Cadera. Yeah, Costello's in the pit lane, as I suspected. And there is Lasky, so he's already behind Rinyaho and Costello. That job is done for those two, so Lasky, I'm going to call it right now, he's nowhere near in this race. He might be close to maybe the battle for, he might be close to the battle for points. As Jamie Cox is now into the pit lane, in fact. We'll go through, and he gets out. No problems whatsoever. Cadera is going to come in. Deals lost the position to Sigalakis there, remarkably. Jamie Cox, so he's effectively leading the race. Here comes Ishikawa, he'll be in this lap. They have to respond now, Razor, and they do. They bring their Japanese driver into the lane. Nathan Corns probably be in the lap afterwards. Mishra's trying to keep up with him. I say that as he goes into the pits. So Corns goes through. Rob Sharp's going to be right in front of him as he pops out. How nice is he going to be to him? McNamara's in. Yamaguchi will go by. Sigalakis. Here comes Jamie Cox. And he's done it. Jamie Cox is well ahead of Ishikawa there. Into the lead he will go effectively, Jamie Cox. Sigalakis, Yamaguchi and Corns all yet to pit. Corns will be in this lap. As will Yamaguchi. As will Sigalakis. Jamie Cox though. 10 laps away from his first win of the season, quite possibly. Ishikawa just could not get the job done. The pit crew did not do the necessary job. It might have been a bit of a hold up. Others were in the lane, I believe. There we go, Jamie Cox into the lead then. He's got 2.5 seconds on Takuma Ishikawa. What can Ishikawa do then in the last 10 laps of the race? Rinyaho's in third, Costello, Mishra. Nathan Corns has lost out to both of them, so the undercut is working very well at the moment. Lasky's in 7th. He's out of Kadera. Yamaguchi's lost a little bit of time, maybe not. He comes back out in 10th, so he's probably gained. Sigalakis has been the big loser there. Ishikawa is catching up a little bit by a little bit, though. So just because Jamie Cox is in the lead does not mean this race is over, ladies and gentlemen. No, it does not. 9 laps to go, 2.3 seconds. Fastest lap of the race for Takuma Ishikawa. Yeah, we can have a look at it. Jamie Cox with an 18.0. 05 and Ishikawa responds with an 18.04. 18.19 for Rinyaho isn't really going to cut it. Nor for Costello. Mishra is going to be the same probably. I think Corns looks like he was quick. So let's see, Lasky's already been taken by Kadera. What's going to happen with McNamara? I do not fancy the Australians' chances. Graham has taken Yamaguchi, so that's something I wouldn't have expected to happen either. Now then, Costello and Mishra. Mishra looking down the inside. Can't get it done. Corns is now pretty much onto the back of them. Rinyaho here, he's got himself 2 seconds back to Costello. Costello must be his best friend right now. Forwards here to Ishikawa. It's still 2.3 seconds. Jamie Cox is responding. He's keeping Ishikawa at bay. Mishra now having a look down the inside. If he can get it done, Nathan Corns is going to surely be challenging soon. I don't think he's gotten it done. Lasky has been overtaken by McNamara, because he's under pressure here from Yamaguchi. Lasky really struggling, holding a very, very narrow line. I'm surprised that he's done that. Doesn't want to risk losing grip and then sliding out. Obviously, Jamie Cox has actually increased his lead by a little bit on Ishikawa. Mishra looking again. The three of them battling into the first corner. Mishra gets it done now. Costello goes wide and Corns follows him through. So Nathan Corns follows the move set out by Urjit Mishra to get into 4th place. Costello there loses 2 spots in one corner. 2.3 seconds up the road to Tapio Rinniho. 5.5 laps to go for Mishra. What can Rinniho do? Meanwhile, Jamie Cox is increasing his lead now, little bit by little bit. 57.17, 57.22. Ishikawa's a little, I think he's broken. Might have just used a bit too much of the tyres too quickly. Now then, the biggest help for Rinniho could be Corns here, but the pace of those two cars is probably going to be so much higher than the Falcon that it's not going to make a massive deal, I'm going to call. Costello's just trying to keep up with those two. Graham finds himself in 10th. Sigalakis has gotten past Lasky. Pablo Deal has somehow been taken by Sigalakis and all that as well. Sigalakis and Graham in the fight for the final point. Jamie Cox meanwhile, 4 laps to go for him. Mishra and Corns, they're too worried about each other to go for Rinniho. There's their state of the top 10. McNamara down 6 spots. 16 up for Mishra. Yamaguchi up 10, 11 spots up for Corns. Costello, Kadera up 14. Of course, we lost Utz, Ratavara on lap 3. Daniel Harvey's down in 15th as a result of that as well. That's why there's so much green. Ishikawa now, he's actually gaining a little bit on Cox. Maybe it isn't quite as over as we thought it was. Well, there's 3 laps to go. 57.29, 57.11. It's just not going to be enough. Rinniho, he's just holding. Corns up the inside, he was really close and couldn't get the job done on Mishra. Costello still dropping off. Graham, 57.39. He's pulled away there from Sigalakis. He's almost got that done. Pablo Deal, Lasky's been absolutely swamped. So he's tried. They tried down a drift slide, the one-stop strategy. Got him into a decent position. Hasn't done much for him though in the race. Jamie Cox, 2 laps to go now. Rinniho just 2 laps away for him as well from a 2nd consecutive podium. Now he's turned around his season with in Donington, and this could be the icing on the cake, and it could just be enough for Falcon to really get somewhere again. Jamie Cox will have a lap to go, 2.2 seconds over Takuma Ishikawa. A fantastic middle stint from the Australian. He made the most of what he had. He didn't seem to have enough to overtake anyone. It's a tricky place to overtake. You pull alongside them and then you just struggle to find any way past. But he had faith in his car to cut back a 6-second deficit. He had faith in his team to get him out ahead of Ishikawa. And in the end, he has been rewarded for all that faith with a strong 2-second victory. So as Jamie Cox comes around the final corner, he will win here in Dijon. 2 seasons running for Entech. The French Grand Prix winner, Jamie Cox, ladies and gentlemen. Ahead of Takuma Ishikawa. Tapio Rinjuho will hold third then. Mishra, Corns, who's going to go to the line? 0.002 between them. Costello takes 6th. Kidera will take 7th. McNamara 8th. Yamaguchi 9th. Graham has held out Sigalakis for the final point. Pablo Deal will get 12th place. Harvey after that poor overtaking maneuver basically is what it was on lap 3. Lasky tried the one stop, did not work for him. Rob Sharp gained 1 position over the race. Stefan Berner didn't really get anywhere. Electrical problem ruined his race very early on. And Brugman is the final finisher. So then, confirmation of the race results. Jamie Cox for Entech Motorsport. Entech Motors. I think I've gotten that quite a little bit wrong, but nonetheless, you will win here in Dijon. First win of the season for the champion, and he will gain a lot of points on Nathan Corns. The first time that Nathan Corns has really lost points when he's been in the lead of the championship this season. Takuma Ishikawa just didn't quite have enough. He will take his first podium, but it could have been so much more really for him. Unlucky in the end. And Tapio Rinjuho, a fantastic drive, kept his nose clean, exactly the same as in Donington, and he's been rewarded with a 3rd place. In the end though, like, you got to look at Cox and Rinjuho. Ishikawa was about where you'd expect him, but Cox and Rinjuho, their performance here today was really based on where they were in qualifying. They made the most of the wet conditions and they got rewarded. Urjit Mishra from 20th position gets to 4th and holds Nathan Corns out by 0.002 of a second. You know, if anything, Corns was smart there. He knew that, you know, if he could out-drag Mishra, he only needed to get ahead by the line. He didn't have to make the overtake into the first corner, which is where he was missing out time and time again. That being said, it's you know, would he have made the overtake? So it's like, if it was 60 laps as opposed to 59, maybe he would have gotten the overtake done. Harry Costello took 6th place, overtaken by both Mishra and Corns late on. Toby Kadera started in 21st after the wet qualifying, made his way up into 7th. Just very good work from him. James McNamara in 8th, Takahiro Yamaguchi in 9th, Andy Graham in 10th. And those are the points positions. Manola Sigalakis was close, not close enough. Pablo Deal was exactly a second behind him. Deal just didn't seem to have what he needed today. Daniel Harvey in 13th, Bimal Anna 14th, Jack Lasky tried the one stop, didn't work. 15th, he was ahead of Rui Martins. Rob Sharp, Stefan Berner with that electrical problem early on. Aaron Reed got caught got caught in another 3 wide sandwich. Donald Brugman was the other one in that sandwich. That was Nathan Korns. That was the instigator. And then the only 2 retirements of the race, Rautavaara and Utsa, both of Apex. Even then, it's like Rautavaara retired as a result of the collision, but Utsa retired as a result of, I don't know what he was doing, but he put himself into the wall pretty hard. There you go, we'll have a look at the fastest laps of the race. Nathan Korns by lots. You look at that. That's the wrong one. Let's have a look at the lap chart. I mean, you know, it's a cruel thing to do, but look, there you go, there's the 2 dots. The only 2 dots of the game. Well, apart from that one. Let's see, Daniel Harvey, you know, he got himself up and then he dropped down. He made his way up a little bit, but just didn't have anywhere near enough. Takuma Ishikawa. You know, Jamie Cox went backwards, gained a little bit, got himself into 2nd place. And then it's the pit stop there ahead of Ishikawa that really made his race work. We'll have a look down here. We'll have a look at Kadera, Mishra, Yamaguchi, Costello, Korns. We'll have a look at all of them. And they've all taken vastly different routes, you know. Korns there. Actually, who was the other one? That was McNamara. So McNamara's gone the opposite way to them. He's gone down. But the other 4, you know, Mishra, he got up high really quite early. Was able to use the car's advantage quite well. Nathan Korns got to the lead a few times, but it wasn't his day. You know, he started a long way down, and in the end, that's what gave him this result. You know, it's the first time he's been off the podium in his career so far. So, the French Grand Prix at Dijon, a cracker, I think. Again, you know, okay, the overtaking might have been a little bit lacking this year as opposed to last year. I seem to think last year was a little bit better, of course. That being said, it wasn't too bad, and a lot of very close racing, and a very good job by everyone involved. As for the season, well, that could just crack it open a little bit. Nathan Korns has been beaten right proper today. You know, he's always been on the podium. He was 5th, and really struggling for the most part. You know, he had the speed in all the wrong places. So, season is definitely not over. That is for sure. With that though, we will call time here. We do thank you all for watching. Possibly a good time to say stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Good night.